Hey everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today is all about shading in a face. So my earlier video was how to draw a face. That was part one. I'll leave a link in the description to part one, but I have a lot of drawing faces videos. This one is how to shade in the face once you've drawn it. I'm going to walk you through that process with a pencil so that you can see where you can add some shadows. I don't usually add a lot of shadows to my drawings, unless maybe I'm painting them. This is the pencil I'm using today. I really like how smudgy it is. I think it's really going to help when it comes to shading in the face. So I drew two faces. We might do more just because I kind of want to go over in detail how we're going to do this. When I draw a face, I'll start with this one because it's I like the marker work here. Usually there's just a simple way to shade in the face, and a lot of times it's understanding where the shadows are. So I'm going to walk you through where the shadows are when you're looking at a face. Now, if you have a reference photo, you could probably see them. A lot of times I don't use reference photos. So let's walk you through. Usually it's under the nose. There's usually a bit of shadow, first of all, on the tip of the nose, because there's a highlight. The tip of the nose is highlighted, but also there's shadow underneath the nose. You'll see that a lot. And in this little area in the center above the Cupid's bow of the lip. The next area where you will find shadows is under the lip. So just under the lip, I'm going to put the bottom part of the lip in here so you can see it. But it's usually the chin area under the lip. So that bottom part of the lip casts a shadow. So a lot of times I'll just do like half a circle. If you're using a pencil, you could simply smudge it. I like smudging it. Kind of creates like soft lines. You can see that I have a shadow under the bottom lip. I have a shadow under the nose, and I had to have a shadow around the tip of the nose because the tip of the nose will usually have a highlight on it. The other areas that naturally will have shadows where your face will cast shadows is the eyelid. So I'm just going to put gentle lines there, also leading down to the nose. So the bridge of the nose is usually highlighted, but the sides of the nose is usually has a shadow in it, as well as sometimes under the eye. So you can see me placing these marks here right now, as well as the side of the face. Usually if you have hair, it's going to cast a shadow. So we're going to do something like this. It's really up to you. Usually when I first draw faces, I don't do a lot of shadows. I just like to practice on the features. So I'm just adding a little shading here. It might come in here where the cheekbones are, right? And highlight right here. And then usually under the chin, wherever the light is coming from, there will usually be a shadow by the chin, underneath, like the chin is casting shadow onto the neck. So I'm doing that here. Now, if there's hair, the hair is also going to cast shadow onto your figure. So let me put some hair in this lady. I'm not putting shading into this hair or anything. I just wanted you to see the hair. Where the hair is going to cast a shadow. So usually there'll be a shadow on the side of the face, maybe a bit on the forehead. Usually this area will not have a shadow. And then you can smudge it in, but I'm going to show you when I color it how that looks so that you can see it better. But you have to know where the areas of highlight are on a face, and usually the areas of highlight are, I'll use a marker. Let's see, should I use this marker? That might be a little too, whatever, doesn't matter. Usually the areas of highlight are the nose, this bridge of the nose, the tip of the nose, this area of the forehead. We've usually got highlights here. And where else? Usually the bottom of the chin. Anywhere else, there's going to be different kinds of shadows. But a lot of times when people are drawing and painting, let me get a white marker. A lot of times if you're drawing a face, a lot of people will put the highlights in. I will often put highlights in right here, and right here, and a dot in the center of the pupil because it will show light reflecting. But those are the areas of a shadow. So now I'm going to sort of, maybe I'll use markers so you can see what I mean if I bring this face to life with shadows, not so much with a pencil. So let's give that a go. I'm going to get my markers and then we'll jump into Okay, my goal when I do this is not to create some perfect face. I am going to show you about where I cast shadows and how I add highlights and that kind of thing to a face. And a lot of times, like I said, oh, this is, I think I used a water-soluble marker, so this might smudge a bit, but that's okay. I'm using, I wonder how well that can be seen. I'm going to use a darker color. Okay, here we go. Okay, so a lot of times I will do like a shadow over the eye. Right here. A lot of times under the eye, oh wait, under the nose, might be the tip of the nose right here. Bring that in a bit. The corner of the mouth is another area of shadow. And with these markers, I'm using the Artex markers. The more layers you add on, the more shadowing you can put onto it. I'm sorry, my dog is going to bark. There's just not getting around it today. But so I've got this part marked in, and then I could take the tip of this marker and add even more shadowing. Okay, so you can see that I've added the shadows. This is probably the most shadow I would add like when I'm drawing. I usually don't get too into the shadows. I do like dark line marks on my ladies. I don't care that, you know, it's not subtle because that's just my own personal art style. And so I'm just kind of bringing this lady to life. And I do think that adding some white highlights can also help. Let's see, I'll show you what I mean because I've really darkened her eyes up. And now I want to get my white marker and show you how I kind of add some highlights. You can do like a little dot on her lip, little dot in the corner of the eyes. I add a little bit of white back into the eyes. You can play with this as often as you want. I do find this one of the most challenging things to do. And then a dot on the eyeball, like the pupil, just to show a reflection. I might not have it exactly right, but that's okay. I don't mind. We all know that my style is not perfection. It's just playing with my art supplies. Now I could get really into like so much more detail, but it's so funny when I'm doing YouTube, I don't really have the opportunity. And in general, I don't have the time so much. But this is the shading that you can do with markers or colored pencils, but this is how you add shadow to a face. I hope this was helpful. Now look how messy that is. That is so messy, but that's okay when you're practicing. And if you have more time, you can spend more time on it. I do hope this was super helpful to you when it comes to shading. Leave your questions in the comments section. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you all have a wonderful day and happy sketching.